What does it look like to have a small YouTube channel when you've reached 3,000 subscribers? We are celebrating this milestone here at Building Together, and if you want to know what a small channel makes and what our stats look like, keep watching. We'll take a look at 1. What was the time frame it took to get to milestone subscribers? 2. How are we doing with the YouTube algorithm? In other words, number 3, which matters more, views, average view duration, or average percentage viewed? And 4, what you really want to know, how much money does a small channel earn?
We didn't know this when we started, but there are well over 100 million active YouTube channels. So many of you might be going through the exact same issues and growth plan that we are. So we started during COVID a couple of years ago when we had some time at home and we wanted to start a brand new venture. Initially, our goal was to get to 1,000 subscribers in a year because, well, we kind of put that time arbitrary, albeit time frame, on our channel, but also because that's what you need in order to be monetized.
We reached 100 subscribers after 4.5 months. We believed in the snowball principle that once we had more subscribers, we would start getting more and more subscribers faster and faster. That didn't really come to be in the first 900 subscribers. After a year, we only actually had 308 subscribers. Over the next 10 months, we got 555 more subscribers. And after 22.5 months, we had 898 subscribers. Then we released 2 videos that were pretty popular for our channel, which catapulted us to 1,000 subscribers and beyond. It took us 23 months from the first released video to the day we got our 1,000th subscriber. This was definitely a commitment to continue to produce and release videos even when we weren't seeing great results.
Yeah, and after that, it took us another 4 months to get to our 2,000th subscriber, and then after that, another 4.5 months to get to our recently reached 3,000th subscriber. Now, the bottom line is that we all dream of viral videos and these aha moments when we break through and just get a flood of views and subscribers. But the reality is, I think for a lot of channels, most channels, is that growth happens slowly and organically. Now, it can, though, be sped up a little bit by paying attention to the data that Google provides for you on your channel dashboard.
So what does our channel data look like now that we have 3,000 subscribers? Let's take a look at some of the data YouTube provides us with. So in the last 28 days, we have had 52.7 thousand views, 3.3 thousand hours of watch time, 271 new subscribers, a revenue of $156.57, and an RPM of $3.13. RPM stands for rates per meal, which means how much you're making per 1,000 views.
More on that later. Now let's dive a little bit deeper into the stats that have piqued our interest. The YouTube algorithm, which pretty much determines what viewers see, looks at 2 things: the number and rate at which people are clicking on a video, and how long they are watching.
YouTube has an incentive to keep people watching. One question we have is, does YouTube prefer someone watching 5 minutes out of a 6-minute video or someone watching 6 minutes of an hour-long video? Let's compare 2 videos of varying lengths and see if we can answer that by looking at their analytics.
Our longest video over the last few months is actually the Ninjago City Market's speed build, where we build this brand new Lego set that's absolutely massive, and the video is 41 minutes long. Now, its average view duration is 4 minutes and 27 seconds, which means that on average, people watched just under 11% of the entire video. Now, this video did not do well for us. It had a lower stat rate across the entire board. It had lower views, watch time, subscribers added, and our estimated revenue was lower as well. Its click-through rate was just 3.8%, and the revenue per 1,000 views, or that RPM that we mentioned earlier, was just $2.20.
Let's compare that video to our video on being content with our Lego collection. This video is 11 minutes and 16 seconds, with an average view duration of 4 minutes and 5 seconds. So while it starts out much shorter than the Ninjago Market speed build, in the end it only has a little less average view duration. Thus, the percentage of the video being watched is higher, 36.4%, compared to the 10.8% of the Ninjago Market speed build.
Now, this video was typical for a lot of our videos on the channel in terms of average views and watch time, but its RPM was $3.76, which is actually a lot higher than that $2.20 RPM for the Ninjago City Market's speed build. So how did the views and the watch time and average percentage watched affect the RPM?
We analyzed the data and the results are in. While total views and average percentage viewed had a very low correlation with our RPM, the average view duration had a very strong correlation with the RPM. This suggests that YouTube doesn't care what percentage of the video people are watching, only how long they watch for.
Yeah, and by the way, that's not a hard, fast rule. It's a strong correlation, but there are going to be some instances, I think like the one we just talked about, where it could look a little bit different than those results. But still, the average watch time, huge in terms of the correlation with RPM. Now, our second question was, why does a video with a higher click-through rate, such as a video that Julia did, the Pirate Playground, why does it seem to have a higher click-through rate but lower number of views than we would expect? And again, it seems to come down to the average watch time.
Yeah. At one point, I assumed that if my title and my thumbnail were really good, that it would get a good click-through rate, which would then result in more views, and YouTube would put it in front of more and more people. However, looking at this video tells us that since it wasn't getting good watch time, YouTube didn't put it in front of more people.
Yeah, the number of times a video is put in front of people is called impressions. And this video only had about 2,500 impressions overall, whereas videos with a higher view duration were getting much more. For instance, we did a video on some of the summer Lego sets and turning them into modular buildings, and it has a pretty high average view duration relative to our recent videos at 4 minutes and 47 seconds. And it has over 45,000 impressions. So that's almost 43,000 more impressions than the Pirate Playground video.
Going back a bit further to our modularization of the LEGO Friends Furniture and Design Shops video, which we released 5 months ago, it has a lower click-through rate of 5.1% compared to the Pirate Playground video, which has a click-through rate of 6%. Yet it had 145,000 impressions. Is this again because of the average view duration? Well, it has an average view duration of 5 minutes and 16 seconds, which is pretty high for our channel, so yes.
Yeah, now let's talk more about this RPM because, again, it's really what drives channels, right? It's how much money you're making per 1,000 views. And really, that RPM is going to be dependent on how hard your audience is to reach and how long people are watching. So if you have a demographic that watches your videos that advertisers have a hard time reaching, they're going to pay more to advertise on your channel, which means that you are going to make more in terms of a higher RPM.
When reading about what YouTubers make, you'll see this number floating around, 1.8 cents per view. However, this does not mean you are going to make that much. And we didn't clearly understand this.
Nope.
According to makeuseof.com, YouTube charges contractors 18 cents per view on average. YouTube pays 68% of this rate to YouTubers through Google AdSense. This is a very good rate, as it means that, in theory, you would get 12 cents for every view, and so $122 for every 1,000 views. On more of a granular level, the numbers aren't always so simple. Some people use ad blockers, and a good portion of those who see the ads skip in the first few seconds. Due to these reasons, among others, the actual pay per video view of YouTube is around 1/3 to 1/2 cent. This means a YouTuber makes $3 to $5 per every 1,000 views their videos get. This tracks because our channel's RPM in the last 28 days is $3.13.
Yep. Now, if you're wondering what video that we've released has made the most money, it is the Ninjago City Market's breakdown video. That had over 32,000 views, an average view duration of just under 4 minutes, a click-through rate of just under 5%, and an RPM of $3.53, which, when you put that into how much money you make, comes out to $115. Now, while around 4 minutes isn't a super long view duration, it's actually pretty decent for our channel, and the RPM of $3.53 is actually, again, pretty solid for our channel, higher than the last 28 days, but in line with some of the other videos that we have released.
Another interesting comparison in RPM is between our El Dorado Fortress breakdown and the Concord breakdown. While these videos have similar content, we have a huge difference in RPM. The Concord breakdown has an RPM of just $2.83, more than a full dollar lower than the El Dorado Fortress breakdown, which has an RPM of $3.95. Let's take a look at their average view duration and see if the answer lies there. The average view duration for the Concord breakdown is 3 minutes and 33 seconds, while the El Dorado Fortress is 4 minutes and 9 seconds.
While we thought maybe the reasons were a complex balance of demographics being different and maybe nostalgia for the original El Dorado Fortress that came out in 1989, it turns out really the biggest separating variable was the average view duration. And it's only 36 seconds longer for the El Dorado Fortress breakdown, but that makes a huge difference in terms of how long people are watching and the number of ads they see and for how long they might see an ad.
So what are our big takeaways?
Yeah, there are 3 key takeaways from this. The first one is that data matters and pay attention to it. Google gives you a lot of great data through the channel dashboard and the analytics page that you can use to understand which videos perform better for your channel. For us, we used to do a bunch of speed builds, and it did open up our channel to some new viewers, but it didn't pull in a lot of subscribers, and it didn't really pay off given how much time it took to do those videos. So we changed a little bit of the emphasis of our channel based on the data. Second, engagement matters. You want to keep people engaged with your videos for as long as possible. And I'm not saying that you do clickbaity type things or a bunch of filler stuff that gets people to kind of like pay attention, but really find ways to edit videos to keep people engaged with the video and its content. And the third one is, yes, data matters, but it's not the be-all, end-all, right? We do this because we love Lego and we want to have fun. So while we do pay attention to the data, we're not afraid to take risks and do some new style videos that we think are consistent with our channel brand. So for you, take some risks, be consistent with that brand, but pay attention to what's going on while still having fun.
Hopefully seeing a snippet of what our channel looks like at the 3,000 subscriber mark has helped you. I know for me, just preparing this video has taught me the importance of the average view duration on the overall revenue, and it was fun to look at all the numbers. Check out how our channel is helping bring clean water to people in rural Honduras. Thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.